What do I see before my eye? An array of bits bizarre, delights made for customizations at the morgue. I also dug into a bag of teeth and received more body parts to cut up and create new friends. But why do we cut our friends to pieces and sew them back together better than before? It's tradition. That's right, it's the second year in a row that I have gone to Adepticon and bought one of these random blind boxes from Totally Not Panicking, organizer of Smash Bash. But yeah, being an American, our traditions and antiques are very young, so I've done this twice in a row. I see no reason to stop year after year. A new holiday is born. Oh boy, I can't wait to kit bash. With the pewter fruits in my hand of the Adepticon tree, I was back at home for a chopping spree. There were many pieces to find my way through, an assortment of heads, and many pinchy claws. Perfect. As I found my way around, test fitting all these pieces, originally I just had the idea to make this pinchy claw monster. But since the head was already missing and it has this hooked witch's knife in its hand, I thought it would make a good chorister for my Heretic Legion warband. We'll call this the fucking around and finding out phase. No battle plan lasts past the first turn, and every kit bash that may seem so well thought out, and oh boy, how did it come together? It was all an accident, my friend. I also really enjoy the pose of this model. The chorister, locked in the sort of ritual position. Their role on the battlefield, after all, is to sing. Yes, if you're not up to speed on the lore, the chorister is a shitty person who is good at singing in life. And if you are shitty enough, you can go and cut your head off at the gates of hell and become a singer for Satan in the Heretic Legion. Am I getting that right? Let me know in the comments down below. But I can't unsee that drawing, so now it has infested my mind and I am imprinting it on top of this model I found. With my choices made, I began pinning away, and yes, I'm going to keep those pinchy claws. And I'm going to take a little bit of plastic putty and just squeeze it into those large gaps. It's going to be a quick filling fix for any major unalignments. I also wanted to add some texture to the model. This is, after all, a dead body. And it already has a nice lumpy form, so why not capitalize on the ideas already in play? I brought some white glue into the picture, just dabbing that around to create some tumorous sores. It's never going to dry quite as thick as you think it will after that first pass, but if you really want significant lumping, pile it up a few times. I also brought some crackle paste into play. I think this will make good disrupted flesh. I have a fun plan for painting this. Chorister assembled, let's get to the painting. But there are some things you've seen before. You've already seen me paint a base up for Trench Crusade models. You've seen me choose a metal color and highlight with the brightest possible silver, yada yada. So what I like to show you next is a little bit of a wrestling match. I'm just going to pull out the high spots, only the important parts. So I'm going to go to the overhead view. Let's get into it. Here in the beginning, I'm just laying down a nice hefty coat of Ruddy Umber. This will be my deepest flesh tone. Get that all over this body. And then when I'm getting onto these crabby claws, I'm going to extend the Ruddy Umber about just so far. I'll grab some pure matte black, swiping off my brush on the paper towel. Just wet blend these demonic extensions into the human flesh. And then while the paint is still active, bring some resplendent red into play. Feel free to really gob it on there. I mean, you're mixing a color in with black, so the black is going to, it's a very strong pigment, we'll say that. But there, this gives me a decent crabby tone. It's a good start. Okay, moving right along, you can see just a couple other various details knocked out, but they are lesser to our grand mission. So, next in this tortured flesh, I'll be laying down some diluted Bloodmood red. This is the speed paint that comes in the John Blanche set. You can see how it's just lightly sitting on top of all the extra micro texturing, yeah, we'll call it that. All the extra textures that I laid down. Yeah, it's going to settle into those crevices for this first layer. This is a very long step of texturing, but it's worth it. I'm coming in with skeleton bone and basically just tracing out the pattern of Freddy Krueger's skin. I want to have a kind of mottled, cracked, hellishly disheveled look to the flesh. I have more to do, but yeah, it may look a little silly, kind of zebra striped. But this is all the under patterning for future layers. So it's important that this layer really stands out. Now the temptation is going to be high to just rush past this after you tediously lay out your textures, but I'm here to tell you, as well as myself, as I'm working on this, that going and building on some of the saturation, working a little more finely, it's worth the time and the effort. I don't want to completely cover the upper facing of the belly. I want all of this shredded texture to show through. And what better way to have that show up in a more meaningful way than increasing the saturation with some very, very thin and light line work. Of course, acknowledging some of the overhead light sourcing. You can see the slight effect that it's having. And why not drop a few little dots here and there as well. Slashes and dots. Stepping a little bit further along before my next all-encompassing steps, I should attend to the pinchy claws just a little bit. A little bit of resplendent red mixed with black. Pull some of those values back up. It's only been wet blended, so just quickly give these claws a little lift upwards in the tonal direction. I'm also going to lay down, just for more disgusting fleshy disruption, another layer of that Bloodmood red. It's just going to play on the textures again, sculpted and painted as well. Very nice. Now for the moment that you didn't know you were waiting for, I've got some bleached bone loaded into the airbrush, and it's a little bit more bright than that skeleton bone. Just maintaining an angle, gently lay a highlight. You can see why we made those original skin marks, so stark. Instead of blending them all up, I wanted the kind of darker spaces to show through because I can pull out the overall volume with the airbrush. A little bit of that texture even showing in the upward direction. Very nice. Sitting nicely. Next, I'd like to bring in the old studio favorite, Magnolia Brown. And I'm going to apply the old anti-zenithal pass. Maintain the proper angle and just spray up from the shadows, a nice transparent amount, so again that texture can show through. Oopsie, extra layers don't hurt. And I realize as I'm spraying down the Magnolia Brown, I should paint in the smaller bits of kit so I can catch them within the universal shadow. So I have Emperor Gold combined with heavy metal, giving me this kind of tinny, coppery tone. Yes. Very nice. Now to just clean things up a little bit from that, that bright bleached bone overspray. A little bit was caught on the claws, which I didn't mind. Just want to go back and reapply my black and resplendent red mixture. Erase a little bit of that misting, but yeah, it does provide a lift, being a lighter tone in general. And also, while I'm here, I'll go ahead and add a little bit of skeleton bone into the resplendent red. Just quickly and very raggedly highlight things. I want a different texture on the pinchy claws opposed to the warped skin. Or a poached, I guess. But seeing is believing, and what you see here is exactly what I want. Yuck. Now I'm coming in with Brain Matter Beige, and once again just scooping into my little jar of patience. I want to add to these highlights that have been gently misted over. Some of them may have disappeared entirely. But yeah, just bringing that kind of laced, webbed skin look back to the forefront. It's working very well for me on the stummy. Yeah, I also have some other things to clean up. I won't, bore you by making you watch the footage of me once again highlighting a metallic object with the color Mithril. I've got a little black and red. And, black and resplendent red mixed together for the dark-ass nipples. We'll get the belly button knocked out. But, yeah, mainly I'm here to just add some final highlights with that Brain Matter Beige upon the warping flesh. Woo! A little bit further along. Now, the darkness is just the perfect color for an old tattoo. So I want to pull a large, long-headed pentagram tattoo onto the belly of this beast. Just very gently dragging along. A touch of the darkness. It's not perfect, but which tattoo is? Show me a flawless tattoo, and I'll pay a little more money for my tattoos. But adding a small amount of ivory white into the darkness, I can lighten things up ever so slightly. And just like every classical freehand, you can work on both sides of the line. I can go back in with a little flesh tone, clean up a little bit of this muddy work up top, reapply a highlight Brain Matter Beige, and it is, within the skin after all, so it's okay to drag some Brain Matter Beige over the tattoo in transparent amounts, so it looks like the skin is folding and the tattoo is beneath the melanin layer, which is the layer that holds your pigment, your skin tone. Now, if you're familiar with the lore in Trench Crusade at all, to become a Chorister, one must cut off their own head. And the idea is you'll pop back to life if the devil thinks that you are a good enough singer. Literally, if you are an evil and good enough singer. So, I've got a small length of clear acrylic rod that I previously melted and stretched out with the old lighter and tweezer combo. It's going to glue that in place, dripping down from the severed head. It is often said that the rule of cool is that fun is number one. And what better way to have some fun than to spill a little blood? So I'm coming in with the Fanatic, first the dry blood effect. It's got a nice, very deeper tone to it. That'll work well for the thicker, fresher, ichorous blood that comes straight out of the neck. Now let me wipe a little off of the brush and get a nice, wide, for a miniature. You don't want to start thin and then move widely. But yeah, I want blood pouring down the tits. Over the pentagram. Cool. And because I'm a little blood obsessed, it is the fuel for life, after all, let's come in with a little fresh blood and mix things up. I'll let the dry blood have all the fun. I want gobs and gouts, sprouts and causeways of crimson life force, unlife, running out of word pictures. Look at all this fresh blood. Very nice. Oh, hi there. I was just looking out the window at a cool car. I'm a real cool car guy. But I also have this painted Chorister. Give me a 360. Yes, look at them cheeks. It's easy to ignore the nudity of this model because it is so disgusting. I was aiming for a kind of quicker approach to Freddy Krueger flesh, opposed to just straight up painting every wave of skin. If you've ever had a good look at burned up skin, it has a hypnotic, almost oceanic look. Beautiful stuff. But I hope you enjoyed painting the But I hope you enjoyed this video, the building and painting process and what has become now a yearly tradition. So look forward to this video again next year. But it's going to be different every time. What have I done wrong? What's wrong with my life? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm always happy to hear from you. Until the next time we meet again, remain unchained.